We are live.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am excited to call the Finance Committee to order. I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Sure. Councilmember Gruber,
Here.
Councilmember Patterson.
Unmute, Councilmember Patterson.
Here, sorry.
Councilmember Smith,
Here.
Vice President Lupian,
Here.
President Melendez.
Here.
Thank you.
And it looks like we are joined by the rest of our colleagues on council. Is that right? I can't see everyone's screen, but I think it's right. So welcome to everyone and welcome to Mayor Evans and his team. We're going to start out with introduction number 48, authorizing the cancellation or refund of erroneous taxes and charges. Any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I'll take a motion, please.
So I just want to note just one further concern. So I received the responses to the question about a procedure being put in place so that we could avoid this in the future. And I do understand that this is a county responsibility, but I would like the city to get a little bit more proactive and take control over what is in the span of our control. And that is to make the county more accountable to us in terms of how we receive that information.
Thank you, Councilmember Smith. Any questions, comments, or concerns from anyone else?
Move it.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introduction number 49, appropriation from the Insurance Reserve Fund. Any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I'll take a motion.
Move it.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introduction number 50, authorizing an agreement for the 2022 Rochester Twilight Festival. Any questions, comments, or concerns? I'll just start by saying I am very much looking forward to a festival season this year, a safe festival season this year. Any questions, comments, or concerns from any members of council here? If not, I'll take a
Move it.
motion. It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 51, authorizing an agreement for the 2022 Rochester International Jazz Festival. Any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I'll take a motion.
Move it.
Moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Chair Gruber,
Introductory, yes.
going back to introductory 49, I am just realizing that I asked for a list of claims by claim type, and I just got the total number per year, the total amount paid out. So I'm wondering if I can, before Tuesday, get the claims broken down by the type of claim that goes out and the total.
Council member, we'll follow up on that with you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor Evans.
Yeah, and you've captured that, Ms. Reeves. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, introductory number 52, appropriating ARPA funds and amending the 2021-22 budget to fund IT initiatives. Councilmember Vice President Lupian, I know you had a question about this.
Yeah, and I guess it's about this introductory and others where we are spending money from ARPA funds where they could have come out of the capital improvement plan. So I guess I'm just wondering, if ARPA funds weren't allocated for this, how long would it take through CIPs to get this project done?
It probably would take some time. And, it's still important to remember that we are still, the COVID has severely affected us as a city. Remember, we continuously get less from the state for funding. So we're trying to use ARPA for a lot of those things. The IT area is an area that concerns me greatly, just in terms of our infrastructure and being up to snuff. In fact, one of the questions I got on the Senate and Assembly budget call yesterday, the hearing that I was on, was about cities and technology and being brought up into the 21st century to make sure that we're there. So it would take longer if we didn't use ARPA funds for that.
I hear that. I guess I'm just wondering if this was already planned in the CIP and we're just using ARPA to get it done quicker. Is that the case? Or are we doing extra because we have the funds?
I think because we have the funds available to us, that's also part of the calculus as well, Councilmember.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? I will say I certainly do understand the questioning and concerns, Vice President Lupien. I'm all for not borrowing money for something that we don't need to borrow for, especially because I think the last year and a half has proven a lot of things, but certainly it's proven the importance of being technologically adept, and as evidenced by the screen I'm seeing you all on right now. So I'm all for it, and I'd love to entertain a motion.
Move it. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 53, approving the commitment of reserve funds and amending ordinance number 2021-397. Any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I'll take a motion.
Move it.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introduction number 54, authorizing agreements and amending the 2021-22 budget for the Financial Empowerment Centers Initiative. I
do have a comment.
Councilmember Patterson, go ahead.
So my comment is that I'm a member of the Redco board and I have to recuse from the vote and the discussion.
Well, recused you are. My comment is the same one I said last month. I think we see so many introductories that we vote on related to the Financial Empowerment Center. And I just think the sooner we can get a work session for everyone to be on the same page and understand. I know, Mayor Evans, you have a million things that you're working on, but we continue to vote on this month after month. And I think it'd be really good for us to be able to just have a conversation about it when we get a chance.
Yes, and we're excited about doing a work session on this. And we also will have some announcements related to this whole area as it relates to around budget time. But yeah, we're excited and anxious to give a update soon on all these initiatives, particularly financial empowerment centers.
Wonderful. All right, I'll take a motion then, unless there's any other comments from council members. Okay, I'll take a motion, please.
Move it.
So moved. Councilmember Smith, Councilmember Lupien, need one of you.
Second.
It's been seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Recuse.
Motion passes.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 401 into the record with Councilmember Patterson abstaining.
Introduction number 55, a resolution approving appointments to the Board of Assessment Review. Any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I'll take it. So moved.
Second.
It's seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introduction number 56, a resolution approving an appointment to the Board of Directors of Action for a Better Community Incorporated. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Congratulations, Councilmember Martin, on joining very, very wonderful board and great organization. Introductory number 86, pardon me. Authorizing an amendatory agreement for legal services. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
And finally, introductory number 87, amending ordinance number 2021-379 relating to an agreement for the provision of lease accounting software. Any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I'll take a motion. It's been moved,
Second.
seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
And that concludes the work of the Finance Committee. Thank you very much.
At this time, I call the Neighborhood and Business Development Committee to order and ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Patterson,
Here.
Councilmember Harris, Councilmember Smith,
Here.
Vice President Lupian.
Here.
President Melendez.
Here.
Introductory number 57, authorizing the sale of real estate. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, I need a motion in a second.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Harris, seconded by Councilmember Smith. And now we vote. All in favor of the item, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed to the item, please say nay. Motion passes.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 58, authorizing the acceptance of a portion of 871, 875 Joseph Avenue by donation. I just want to commend the good folks in NBD for the work that they did on this item. They made a deal, they got it done. Local property owner gets a place to park and we get a larger parking lot. So I just want to commend y'all on the good work. That took some work and it is appreciated. Any other questions, comments, or concerns on this item?
Another comment, just that the individual who donated the parcel was my neighbor growing up, so I'm excited to see that he did his civic duty here. So thank you.
There you go. Very cool. All right. Any other comments, questions, or concerns on this item? Seeing none, I need a motion in a second.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by President Melendez, seconded by Councilmember Harris. And now we vote. All in favor of the introductory, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed to the introductory, please say nay. Motion passes.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 59, authorizing the acquisition of 27 York Street. We had some questions and some comments earlier. Is everybody satisfied with the answers that they have received?
I have an additional question.
Please go, Council Vice President.
52,000, that's the max acquisition. Can you, and maybe this isn't something you can talk about publicly, but how does the process work in terms of negotiation? Is that the price that is offered, or is that what you can negotiate up to?
For a property that we are purchasing, the city is unable to pay any more than the assessed value, the appraised value. So we have an appraisal done. Once the appraiser comes back with the appraised value, then we are obligated to pay no more than that. So if the owner was willing to accept something less than that, we could, but it's unlikely because they get the assessment appraised as well. Sorry.
Okay, so it's pretty.
It's pretty thick.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. President, it's been a while since we've had a work session on how our appraisals work. I don't remember if there's anybody here who was around the last time we did one of those. So if we could probably get a work session, that would probably be really useful so folks could understand how that worked.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I think the last one was my first year on council. I remember that. That was very, very eye-opening. So I would definitely recommend that as well.
Is that something that could be added onto the NBD update, or is that kind of a larger?
That's its own thing.
Got it.
We will get on that, Councilmember Patterson.
Thank you. All right, so seeing no other questions, comments, concerns on this item?
Move
I need
it.
a motion in a second. Moved by Councilmember Harris, seconded by
Second.
Councilmember Smith. We're gonna get that one to Councilmember Smith. All right, and now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 59, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
URA 1, resolution approving the 2020-21 annual report of the Rochester Renewal Agency. Councilmember Smith had some pretty interesting
I'm sorry,
questions.
Councilmember Patterson, your voice trailed off a little bit. Can you?
Oh, you guys ready? We'll do it again, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, resolution approving the 2020-21 annual report.
Councilmember Patterson, for some reason, your voice is trailing again. We can't hear you.
I think
Okay,
it's when you look to the side.
all right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm an old guy, I gotta read it, okay? Resolution approving the 2020-2021 annual report of the Rochester Urban Renewal Agency. Councilmember Smith had some issues and concerns. Councilmember Smith, the floor is yours.
So I received a very detailed response from Commissioner Miller today via email, and I am satisfied. I would just check in with council members Harris and Lupien to see if they had any additional questions.
Anybody else?
No additional questions.
Vice President.
I would, did that email get sent out to all of us or just you, Councilmember Smith?
Oh, I did not check to see who was on the receivers.
I thought you were in the loop on that one, Councilmember Lupien.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet, but I'll take a look.
I will
but
be
have no
happy to
concerns.
make sure that you get
Vice
that,
President.
Vice President. I can send that to you right now.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right,
Thank you, Commissioner Miller, for that very detailed response.
Thank you, Councilmember.
so at this time, I need a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Smith, seconded. Was that you, Councilmember Harris, or was that you, Vice President Lupien?
Yes, Chair Patterson.
All right, no problem. We got it. Seconded by Councilmember Harris. And now we vote. All in favor of URA 1, please say aye.
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 All opposed to URA 1, please say nay. URA 1 passes.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 60, local law modifying the plumbing license process. Well, actually, that should be a local law modifying the plumbing license process and the electrical license process. Would that be correct, Commissioner Miller?
Yes, we are dealing with a number of trade licenses. So it is plumbing, business and trade, stationary engineers, and refrigeration at this time.
Okay. At this time-
Just to clarify, Tom Worth from the Law Department, the local law is as just to plumbing,
Mhm.
and then the subsequent ordinance is as to the various professionals, plumbing, electrical, and stationary engineers.
Okay, you are correct. I apologize. We get them in a packet, so they all come
Yeah.
together. All right. So on that point, any other questions, comments, or concerns for introduction number 60?
Just one.
Please.
Just wondering, I mean, this is great stuff. The more we move to digital, the better. How do we plan to how do we promote this to the industry? How are people going to know that this is an option now?
Council member, this is part of being prepared now for the rollout of the new land management system. So we're getting these rules changes in place so that as the new system is coming online, we will be able to use it for these things as opposed to being stuck with the old, having to have a sheet of paper. So as we roll out land management, we will be communicating this to all of the different trades so that they understand that this is now a new function that they'll be able to take advantage of. So we will promote this very, very heavily.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, seeing no other questions or comments, I need a motion and a second on introductory number 60.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Smith, seconded by Vice President Lupien, and now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 60, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed to introductory number 60, please say nay. Introductory number 60 passes.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 61, amending I'm gonna try it in English this time. Introductory number 60, amending the municipal code with respect to plumbing licenses, electrical licenses, the licensing of business and trades, and stationary engineers, and refrigeration operations licensing. Yeah, there's a whole lot there. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice President Lupien, seconded by Councilmember Smith. And now we vote on introductory number 61. All in favor of introductory number 61, please say aye.
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 All opposed to introductory number 61, please say nay. Introductory number 61 passes.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 62, authorizing a lead agency agreement between the city council and the mayor regarding environmental review. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Harris, seconded by President Melendez. And now we vote on introductory number 62. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
With there being no other business before this committee, we stand adjourned.
All right, at this time, I'm calling the Parks and Public Works Committee to order. I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilmember Pio,
Here.
Councilmember Gruber,
Here.
Councilmember Lightfoot,
Present, ma'am.
Vice President Lupien,
Here.
President Melendez.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Introductory number 63, authorizing an amendatory agreement for the Rundell Library Structural Terrace Improvements Phase 4 project. Any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I will take a motion.
Move it.
Moved.
Second.
And second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
And introductory number 64, authorizing an agreement, funding, and amending ordinance number 2019-89 for the Erie Harbor Enhancements Phase 2 project. Any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Move. And second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 65, authorizing an agreement for a public art installation at Brooks Landing. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
I
If not, oh, go ahead.
I don't need to disclose this, but I'm doing it anyways just to be above board. My husband was involved at one point in this project. He is no longer.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I will take a motion.
Move it.
Moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 66, appropriating funds for the South Avenue and Elmwood Avenue Street Improvement Project. Any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I will take a motion.
So moved.
Moved
Second.
and second and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Thank you. Introductory number 67, bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $5,668,000 bonds of said city to finance the cost of the South Avenue and Elmwood Avenue Street Improvement Project. Questions, comments, or concerns?
Question for you.
Councilmember Patterson.
Thank you. So to the commissioner, I don't know exactly where this fits in based on the transmittal here, but part of the bond ordinance is going to be for resident project representation services. Can you explain to the new council members what that means? And then I will give you my question.
Sure. So the RPR services, just to keep it short without the lingo, is basically those are our folks who are out there making sure that our contractors, our vendors who are making sure the contractors are building things up to the specs. That means that we have plans that have been done. We have design plans. They are very specific. We need to make sure that those are followed to a T. There are obviously changes that happen in the field, but for the most part, we don't just give somebody a set of plans and say, oh, let us know when it's done, because things are built or in the ground. We need to follow through. We need to make sure that all of that is being done as it was designed by a professional engineer and stamped, as well as signed off on by us. I hope that answers your question, Councilmember Patterson. Yeah.
Right. So here comes the question. The question is this. There are, DOT has a NICET certification program that actually does the exact same thing, because a road is a road is a road. And so is a sidewalk and a whole lot of other stuff. What is your plan to ensure that city residents and many of those NICET certified individuals are either citizens of the city of Rochester, women and or minorities? What is your plan to ensure that of this almost $6 million that we're going to have some city folks out there doing that inspection work? And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is a similar question that you asked last month, and it's very clear that it's a good question. I hope you ask it every time, because it's going to give me the opportunity to talk about not just what we're doing with respect to these individual RPR contracts that we bring before council, but what we're doing going forward. And I've made no secret of this, and you know this as well as Councilmember Harris, and we talked about this, that one of the things I want to make sure we're doing is creating a pipeline to the city for city residents to be able to obtain jobs here. So we can add NICET certifications to different workforce development programs. I had an excellent visit over at Edison Tech. It was supposed to be an hour and a half, and I think we were there about 2.5 hours. I was blown away. It absolutely made my day. And yesterday, my day was absolutely made when I got to go over to visit Mr. McFadden, Paul McFadden, and the Rejobs training program as well. So those are a couple of things that we can look at. I know I'm also meeting with Ms. Brindamore to talk about some of the things that her interns and bringing people on. So the short answer is this. We're always looking at it right now, but we want to increase the number of city residents who have the required certifications so that they can serve on this. And we will continue to give preference to those firms that bring those folks in through the various programs, either existing or planned.
That is wonderful to hear. Have you had a chance to talk to the Region 4 compliance specialist to find out how we can work collaboratively to get that done?
I have not. That's one I can reach out to. I still have a lot of contacts over at NISDOT Region 4, which for those who are on the call is they call it the Genesee Valley office. Maybe someday we can get them to move from 1535 Jefferson Road in Henrietta to somewhere else on another Jefferson, a little closer to where we are. But no, I'm happy to reach out. Chris Reeve, who's the regional director, I've worked with him for at least the last 12 to 15 years. So just like your suggestion that I reach out to Principal Scott, I'll put that on my list of things to do right away and make that call. I'm happy to do that. Anything we can do to start, again, creating the pipeline for, and I'm going to say, and Councilmember Harris can, I hope you saw how enthused I was. I really like the idea of us being able to say to City of Rochester residents when they're 14 or 15 years old, that if you stick with this, we're going to have an opportunity for you to get somewhere where you can advance not just a job, but your career at DES, where we have 750 to 800 positions. So I'm not going to keep going on about that, but I will say that it's been consistent with the mayor's stance that if we do this, this is how we fix a lot of problems by getting people good jobs. So I'll leave it at that. But thank you. Sorry to go off on that, but
you're all right. Thank you, sir, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Great information. I appreciate you as well. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I'll take a motion.
Move it.
Moved. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 68, bond ordinance of the city of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $3,745,000 bonds of said city to finance water service improvements associated with the South Avenue and Elmwood Avenue Street Improvement Project. Any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 69, authorizing an agreement for the South Avenue and Elmwood Avenue Street Improvement Project. Any questions, comments, or concerns on this one? If not, may I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 70, bond ordinance of the city of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $1,007,000 bonds of said city to finance certain costs of the hazardous sidewalk replacement program, Northwest Quadrant, contract 2022, phase 3. Any questions, comments, or concerns? I have a comment. I'm very happy to see this. Thank you, Commissioner Perrin, as always. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Our motion carries.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 71, authorizing an agreement for the hazardous sidewalk replacement program, Northwest Quadrant, contract 2022, phase 3. Any questions, comments, or concerns on that one? If not, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 72, bond ordinance of the city of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $2,705,000 bonds of said city to finance the cost of the Weaver Street Rehabilitation Project. Any questions, comments, or concerns before we get into that?
I do have a question.
Vice President Lupien.
Wondering was Weaver Street identified as a priority to redo?
That's one I'm going to have to ask Holly Barrett to join in because that was done. Obviously, this project was underway before January 1st. And she can explain the overall process, but I'll ask Holly, can you jump in on this, please?
Sure. Through our large network, we go through and we inspect all of our streets and we come up with criteria and prioritize them based on their condition and their overall needs. We also look at the average daily traffic through there. We look at adjacent projects. And all of that goes into factoring all of our projects that go in our 1, 2, 3, and 5-year plans and our out-year plans. We also balance the work that we're doing in our rehab program with other grant opportunities that come to play. In the situation with Weaver, that location is in very poor condition. Even as we were looking at it, we were originally thinking of it more as a milling and resurfacing project. Once we started looking in depth at the conditions, we decided that we needed to do something more comprehensive and really look at addressing the curb heights and the drainage and many of those other amenities and doing right by that street.
All right, thank you.
Oh, wait a minute. I'd like to add a little bit to that.
Sure.
Councilmember Patterson.
Sure. The other side of the story is a resident complained, and working with Councilmember Ortiz, they raised enough heck and enough stink that this is where we ended up. So if you're wondering if, complaining works, yes, it does.
This is a civic engagement success.
And the other thing I add is if you've driven, as I do usually once every Saturday down that, you will see why it needs to be done. So I would urge anyone, if you want to check it out for yourself, drive over there and look, and you'll see why we're doing it.
When was the last time there was work done on that street.
I don't have that number in front of me. Suffice it to say, it's been many, many, many decades. And this will be a transformative project by the time we are done.
Look, if you go through there and you see the little short broken off brown curbs, that should tell you everything you need to know.
Or have you seen any of the red brick underneath the asphalt?
To say, it sounds like my street.
A whole street like that in the Northeast. Let's not go there.
Right.
Well, we have.
All right.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead, Holly.
So I was just making a comment that our city has some very old infrastructure. There's a lot going on underneath that asphalt.
We're a very historic city, that is why.
We certainly are.
Well, I appreciate all the work you guys are doing. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 72, bond ordinance of the city of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $2,705,000 bonds of said city to finance the costs of the Weaver Street rehabilitation project. Any other questions, comments, or concerns about Weaver Street rehabilitation project? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 73, bond ordinance of the city of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $182,000 bonds of said city to finance water service improvements associated with the Weaver Street rehabilitation project. Any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
So moved.
Moved.
Second.
And seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 74, authorizing an agreement for the Weaver Street rehabilitation project. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 75, authorizing an agreement with the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
Moved,
Second.
I guess second and seconded. Any opposed? I'm sorry, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 76, appropriating American Rescue Plan Act funds for the summer 2022 lead service line replacement program 2B, as in Bravo. Any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I'll take a motion.
Just a comment.
Oh.
To the council.
President Melendez.
Yes, to the council, I just want to note that in total, we have about $200 million worth of lead service replacement projections over the next several years, some of which we've already done. So I just want to make that note that, as we look at this, it's a lot of money, but it's clearly a priority for the city. We want to make sure that we keep people safe. I just want to put it out there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I could just say, we are asking for, in one of our top legislative asks, and we asked this yesterday on my legislative testimony, for the state to help also give us another 100 million in for lead service line replacements, because after ARPA, after federal infrastructure dollars, we're going to be about 100 million short as it relates to lead service line replacement. So we've been requested in our legislative ask this year for the state to also step up and give us some dollars there. So hopefully we'll be successful in that regard. But I do want to thank council for making this a priority, because it's not something that's like shiny and fancy, but it's something that is so critical for the city when we have infrastructure as old as we have. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. President, for saying that.
Thank you, Mayor Evans. Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
Moved. Can I get a second?
Second.
And seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
And that is the end of Parks and Public Works. I thank you very much, Ms. Hazel Washington. You do fantastic as always.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
All right, at this time, I would like to call the Public Safety, Recreation, and Human Services Committee to order, and we'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
President Melendez,
Here.
Councilmember Harris,
Here.
Councilmember Martin,
Here.
Councilmember Pio,
Here.
Vice President Lupien.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, introductory number 77, authorizing an agreement for concert series management services. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Can I get a motion in a second?
Move. Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposition? Motion passes. Clerk Washington, I believe you're on mute.
Sorry, thank you. The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 78, authorizing an agreement and amending the 2021-22 budget for the Flower City AmeriCorps program. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Get a motion in a second.
Move it.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposition? Motion passes.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 79, authorizing a license agreement for the use of water sports facility at Genesee Valley Park. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
I'd just like to say I was happy to see the investment in making this available for the city and at a low cost.
Any further questions, comments, concerns? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make comment and agreement with Vice President Lupien. That's in my district, so woo-hoo.
Woo-hoo.
All right, entertain a motion.
I'm move to adopt.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposition? Motion passes.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 80, authorizing a funding agreement and amending the 2021-22 budget for the 2021-22 Stop DWI High Visibility Engagement Campaign. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment.
Olivia?
So we spend money, and a lot of it's grant money, on enforcement around DWIs. And I think it's important that we take a look at prevention, and some of the programs that are out there around alternative transportation are really promising and show, up to 30% decrease in DWIs year round, and at high, like holiday where there's high usage. So I'd really like us to start investing in upfront. Once someone's made the decision to drink and drive, the punishment is the only option if we catch them. And so I think spending upfront, making sure people don't make that choice, is a better use of our money.
Thank you. Any further questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, I'll take a motion.
Move it.
Is there a second? Don't have a second yet.
Oh, second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay.
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 Motion carries.
And who was that second nay? The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 3-2 into the record with Council Member, was that Martin?
Yes.
Voting no, and Vice President Lupien? Thank you.
Introductory number 81, authorizing an agreement for analysis of EMS service delivery. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion passes.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
Introductory number 88, authorizing sublease for a portion of 245 East Main Street. I'd like to make a brief comment on this. This is relative to some ongoing negotiations for space for the Police Accountability Board. This came in yesterday as a statement of necessity. There's been ongoing arrangements between administration. I don't know if anyone from administration would like to comment on this, but I would also entertain any questions that the council may have.
Yeah, the only thing I want to say is I want to thank my team. You know, I mean, this wasn't exactly. I noticed there was ongoing conversations here. I think my team stepped up to try to be helpful in this area. So I want to thank them for stepping up to try to find a conclusion to this. Commissioner Perrin's group, as well as our legal department, they did everything they could to make this happen. So I want to thank my team for their work on this.
Thank you, Mayor Evans. Hearing no questions, can I get a motion in a second?
Move to adopt.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 5-0 into the record.
There's no other business before the Public Safety, Recreation, and Human Services Committee, so we stand adjourned. And at this time, I would like to call the Committee of the Whole to order, and we'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Gruber,
Here.
Councilmember Harris,
Here.
Councilmember Lightfoot,
Present, ma'am.
Councilmember Martin,
Here.
Councilmember Patterson,
Here.
Councilmember Pio,
Here.
Councilmember Smith,
Here.
Vice President Lupien,
Here.
President Melendez.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, introductory number 82, resolution confirming the appointment of the Commissioner of Neighborhood and Business Development. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
My only comment is that I've had the pleasure of serving with Dana Miller and working with Dana Miller for the entire time I've been on council. I have found him to be an exceptional individual who is remarkably committed to this community with a breadth of knowledge and a memory like an elephant. We couldn't find a better commissioner for NBD, and it is my hope that we will have a unanimous vote for him, not only today, but on Tuesday.
Very well. Any other further comments, questions? Okay.
I would just,
Councilmember Smith, yes.
I would just add to that, that as a new council member thus far, Commissioner, you have been extremely responsive and truly appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, entertain a motion in a second.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 9-0 into the record.
Introductory number 83, resolution confirming the appointment of the Director of the Bureau of Human Resource Management. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion in a second.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 9-0 into the record.
Introductory number 84, resolution confirming the appointment of the chief of the fire department. All in favor, say aye.
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 I didn't even ask for any
Hey, you
questions.
got somewhere to go?
I don't have anywhere to go. I'm just skipping through the process. So any questions, comments, and concerns?
My only comment is, had a chance to meet with Acting Chief Hernandez. I believe that he has a firm commitment to continuing the increased diversity that we've seen in the fire department. And I'm looking forward to working collaboratively with him to achieve those goals.
I entertain a motion in a second.
Move it.
Move it. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 9-0 into the record.
Introductory number 85, resolution amending resolution 2022-4 relating to the rules of council. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Can I get a
Second.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
The clerk will enter the affirmative vote of 9-0 into the record.
And this concludes the business of the Committee of the Whole. We stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
President Melendez,
Yes,
I'd just like to point out that we don't have any public hearing items.
thank you. So with that, with no public hearing items, we have to wait till 5 o'clock for that, though. Is that correct?
No, we didn't have any items, so we didn't advertise it.
Okay, very well. Thank you. So there's no public hearing items, so no one has to stick around. Thank you, everyone. We have our general council meeting on Tuesday. We'll see you there.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah, that's
Hey,
it.
if anybody wants to get married, I got the ability to marry people. So me and Hazel, we're doing weddings on Monday. So
Yo, look,
Find out.
new council members, if you've never been to City Hall on Valentine's Day, this place is mobbed with people getting married. Come on through. It's a hoot.
that's right. Come check it out.
Will there be chocolate?
Absolutely.
It's Valentine's Day. There's always
It's always chocolate.
It's gonna
Okay,
be chocolate. Yes.
yes, then I will see you all there.